everyone, and welcome back to Catharsis Inc. I am so excited because today I'll finally be showing you some fall DIYs. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first craft we're gonna do involves this acorn sign from the Dollar Tree. These harvest DIY words from the Dollar Tree, and this is a 6-pack. So we'll be using the one that says Hello Autumn. We'll also be using some glitter, some brown acrylic paint, some gold acrylic paint, some stain, some foam mounting tape, and I have some glue and some paint brushes here. And then I went ahead and printed out a squirrel template from online, and I'll include it in the description down below. But I cut it out and then I traced it on a piece of cardboard. So I'm going to be using the cardboard piece for our sign here. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to stain the acorn, and if you don't have any stain, you can actually use brown paint. Just add some water to it, make it really thin, paint it on, and then wipe it off with a paper towel. And then it'll give you the same stain look as regular stain. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this stain and just stain this whole entire acorn. Now while the acorn dries, I'm gonna go ahead and paint my Hello Autumn sign gold and then the squirrel brown. Now while the paint on the squirrel is still wet, I'm going to be using some of this brown glitter to put on top of it. So now we are going to glue on our words, and I think I'm going to put the words at the top here. So I'm going to use some of this Fix-All adhesive super glue that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just gonna put some on the back. Okay, now we are going to use our foam stickers to put on the back of the squirrel. So I'll just take a couple of these. Shake off the glitter. And maybe we'll do one more on the tail. And then you just peel off the back of the sticker here. Okay, and if some of your glitter came off, that's okay. We can actually add more glitter on with some paint. So this is how it turned out. I ended up adding some orange glitter just to give it a more fall look, but I think it turned out really cute. The next thing we're gonna do is make our own fall scented candle with stuff from the Dollar Tree. So I picked up a 7-day white candle, this cute little pumpkin jar. I'm using some whole cloves from my own apothecary, some of this pumpkin chai essential oil, and then some cinnamon. Now I didn't have regular ground cinnamon, so I'll just be using cinnamon sugar. So what we're gonna do is we are going to melt this candle down. So you'll want a pot of water. You just stick it in there and turn it on to, I'd say, about medium-low heat, and just let it melt down. And as you can see, the candle is starting to melt. Now the top isn't melted yet, so once the entire candle is melted, then we can pour it into our pumpkin jar. So the wax completely melted, and I went ahead and poured it into the pumpkin jar. Now normally I would use the wick that is already in the candle, but for time purposes, I'm just gonna go ahead and use these wicks that I had on hand. I believe I had gotten these from Michael's a while back. So while your wax is still liquid, you're gonna wanna put your essential oil in. So I'll put a few drops of this in. Okay, and then I'm gonna use a butter knife and just stir it around. Okay, now I'm going to let this harden, and then I'll hop back on here and let you know what we do from there. So the candle is starting to harden. Normally it wouldn't be this bumpy, but a chunk of wax wasn't melted yet and fell into there when I didn't mean to do that. But that's okay, I'm gonna end up burning it anyway. But if all your wax is melted, it won't be bumpy like this. But while it's still a little liquidy, I'm gonna go ahead and put my cloves and my cinnamon on top so that they stick into the wax. Like that, okay, and then Then the third thing we're going to make are little gratitude boxes, and then something to hold the pencils and papers in that you can put on your dining room table for easy access for all your guests. So we're gonna use this little acorn holder, I guess it would be, one of these treasure boxes, one of the wooden words from that 6-pack that I showed earlier, some stain, and some gold paint. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go ahead and stain the acorn holder and the treasure box, and then I'll hop back on here and let you know what we're gonna do from there. So I've stained both containers here. So as you can see, these spots here, I think it's because maybe glue got into the wood. There's a few spots here that the stain didn't get to, but we're gonna use, instead of this side here with the cutouts, we're going to use this flat side, and I'm going to be gluing this onto the acorn holder. But first I want to paint it gold. And then as you see here, I've stained the inside and the outside of this little treasure box. I think what I'm going to do is use the paint marker, and if you can see where these little grooves are, I think I might paint those gold. And then I'm going to adorn the top with my family's initials. That way each family member will get their own gratitude box, and it'll be like a little dinner gift, a thank you, so to speak, for them coming to your house for Thanksgiving. So let me go ahead and do that, and then I'll pop back on here. And this is how they turned out. So I painted the Give Thanks gold and also accented gold on the bottom here. And then just put some strips of paper in here with some pencils. And then since this particular box is mine, instead of an initial, I just did a rub-on transfer from the Dollar Tree. It was one of their fall transfers. It's a little birdie, since my nickname is Birdie. So what they'll do is they'll take, you know, a piece of paper or a few pieces of paper, write down what they're thankful for, and then fold it up and put it in their little box, and then they can take it home and then continue to add gratitude pages in there throughout the year. And you know, they can get in there whenever they want and read those and just reflect on the year. The fourth craft I'm going to do is make some napkin rings. So I picked up some of these acorn ornaments from Dollar Tree. It comes with 8 of them in there. And then these are the rub-on transfers that I used for the gratitude box. As you see, I just used the little birdie, but we're gonna be using these for the napkin rings as well. Now, if you wanted to, instead of using these decals, if you wanted to put people's initials or names on these instead of a decal for the napkin ring, that would look cute. But since I'm putting their initials on the gratitude boxes, I thought I'd change it up a little bit and do some decals instead. So for these, I'm also going to be using the stain for these as well. So let me go ahead and stain these, and I'll hop back on here. So I got done staining, and I put the transfers down where I want them to go. I haven't stuck them on yet. As you can see, I didn't wait very long and my stain went through the white, but that's okay. The transfer will still work. So let me go ahead and transfer these on, and then I'll show you what they look like. So I ended up having a quadri trying to get these transfer stickers on the acorns. I don't know why that it went on to the gratitude box just fine, but then I tried doing it on here and it just wouldn't go. It was chipping up the wood and everything, and as you can see, the sticker didn't transfer all the way. So plan B, I went ahead and did initials on there. I think it turned out really cute. Got it on my fox plate, and I think that's a cute little personalized touch for Thanksgiving dinner. Then our last fall DIY is going to be a fall themed shadow box. So I just picked up this shadow box from the Dollar Tree. Then I'll be using one of the fall words, Welcome Fall. And then I had some of this leftover flat moss. Can't remember where I got this. This might have been from the Dollar Tree as well. If not, it was from Walmart. Then I have some fox ornaments from the Dollar Tree, some reindeer moss. This I got from Walmart, but Dollar Tree has this as well. And then I'll be using this sheet out of Michael's scrapbook paper pad. So I think I'm gonna use this one up here, and actually it fits pretty good. I was holding this up to it and it actually fits pretty good there. So we're gonna cut that out and paste it inside of here. So I'm gonna do that off screen and then I'll hop back on here. So I went ahead and cut it out. So I'm just gonna use a glue stick from Dollar Tree and glue it on there just so there's no bubbles and it won't come out. It's pretty snug fit though. I was checking to see if it would fit before I glued it on just to make sure, and it is pretty snug, but just as a reinforcer, I am going to glue it down here. Okay. So that's how it looks. And I kept these other two pieces that I cut out from that sheet. We're gonna use those a little bit later. But in the meantime, I'm gonna use some of this flat moss to put on the bottom area here as grass. So I'm gonna cut according to the size there and then just glue that on there. So I'm gonna do that quick and then I'll hop back on here. And since this material is thicker, I went ahead and used Dollar Tree's Fix-All Adhesive Super Glue just so it'll stick on better than a regular glue stick. So now that I have that on there, I think I'm gonna start working on the fox. Now I did a rough sketch of what I want the fox's face and tail to look like, and then I pulled out some paint here. So I'm gonna be, if you don't have this burnt sienna color, you can always mix orange and brown together to give that more fox color because they're kind of orangish brown. But I think I'm gonna be using this burnt sienna for his body, and then for the white parts I'm just gonna use white acrylic paint. So what I'm gonna do is, for the tip of his tail, I'm going to be painting white. This little fur piece here, I'm going to be painting white. And then his face part here, I'm going to be painting white as well. And then for his eye and mouth, I'll just do regular black. I went ahead and covered the entire fox with white paint just as a type of primer. And then while that's drying, I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing with the words here, but then I think I'm gonna cover it with this orange yellow acrylic paint just to give it a color difference between the sienna. So it'll be a, you know, a color pop on the shadow box. I think it'll be really cute. So I went ahead and added some brown to the orange. It seemed like the orange was way too bright for the background of the shadow box. And then while they were drying, I also added some rub-on transfers to the back of this of some leaves and acorns, and I think that turned out really cute. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to glue the fox onto the back here. Okay, so that's how our little fox looks. And then we're gonna add layers onto this. So we're first gonna start with some of this reindeer moss. So we'll take a chunk of that and glue it onto our moss grass. And as you can see, it starts to create a 3D effect. So we're just gonna put some more on the other side and maybe in the middle. So it's gonna look as though our fox is hiding behind a bush. Okay, so now I want to take those extra pieces that I saved from when I cut out the paper, and those I want to glue on the front of the box here. So let's see, maybe I'll try using the glue stick for that so it doesn't fold up the paper, leave bubbles. We don't want that. So I'll just try using this. Actually, we might have to use the super glue because I don't think it's gonna stick because this grass is sticking out a little bit. So let me just try to use a little bit of super glue. I'll flatten it out as best I can so it doesn't leave any bubbles. Maybe I'll put some glue on the grass as well. And we'll try that. Okay, so while that dries, I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. And I think I'm gonna add some more moss right in the middle here to cover up where the paper ends. And that might help hold that down as well. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. I think it's turning out really cute. I love it. Okay, and then the last thing we're gonna do is add the words. And I was playing around with different ideas of placement for these, but I think I'm gonna go with putting it on the side here. I think that looks really cute. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of glue to the back of these words, just at the top there, so I don't get glue everywhere. So let's try to do that. We'll just hit it at some of the main points at the top of the word welcome. And here is the final product. I think it turned out so cute, and it would go with any woodland theme fall decor. It's just absolutely adorable. I hope you all had a lot of fun watching this video and maybe got some inspiration on some fall decor for your Thanksgiving table. If you enjoyed this video, definitely give it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.